Yo, welcome back to the Big Juicy Wrestling channel. I'm your host, Big Juicy, aka Nate. Today I'm going to be trying to predict who's going to dethrone every single AEW champion. But before I do that, please like this video and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you never miss another video. With that being said, let's get on to my predictions. So AEW is in a pretty interesting place right now. Every single champion that they have is a heel at the moment, which is pretty cool. But the first champion that we're going to be talking about is the Trios Championships, which are being held by Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta, the Blackpool Combat Club. Now, the Blackpool Combat Club has went very up high in the ranks. I didn't know how this team was going to be as champions because, I mean, they did do the turn on Bryan Danielson, and Wheeler Yuta was kind of like, eh. But then after WrestleDream, Wheeler Yuta joined the Blackpool Combat Club again. So they are back to being actual champions. I honestly don't really have a clear-cut winner on who's going to beat the Blackpool Combat Club. I have a guess, though, and my guess is the conglomeration, and that is Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy. The fans, I feel like they're a very lovable faction with the fans. I mean, me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the conglomeration, but the fans really like them. They're really over with the crowd. I love all three of the competitors in the conglomeration. I don't know, the team just hasn't resonated with me yet. But I think they're a perfect team to beat the Blackpool Combat Club and kind of rejuvenate the Trios division and kind of rejuvenate AEW from the Blackpool Combat Club. The TBS Championship currently being held by Mercedes Moné. I don't know where they're going with this, because there's been a lot of great challengers to defeat Mercedes Moné, but they didn't defeat Mercedes Moné. Like, I honestly thought it was going to be Britt Baker at All In, but as we can tell, it was not Britt Baker. But my opinion, I still am going to stick with my first guess in my first video, and that is, I think Saraya is going to defeat Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship. I think that this makes the most sense. I think this feud would be phenomenal. I think this feud would be one of the best feuds in AEW, in my opinion, because, like, they have a lot of history. And I think they could definitely play into the fact that Mercedes injured Saraya and took her out for like a solid 2 or 3 years. So I still stick with this guess. I still think that I still think that Saraya is going to defeat Mercedes Moné. Another thought I had was maybe Camille turns on Mercedes Moné. That's another thought I had. But that would be pretty interesting if that happened. But my guess is still Saraya is going to defeat Mercedes Moné. The Continental Championship currently being held by Kazuchika Okada. Now, Kazuchika Okada has been a fantastic champion, in my opinion. I think he's had some very good title defenses. But I think his reign should be coming to an end soon. I really hope it doesn't, because I love Kazuchika Okada. He's my favorite Japanese star of all time. But he's been a fantastic champion, but he has held the belt for a very long time. And I think his reign should be coming to an end soon. And I don't have a clear-cut winner on who's going to dethrone Kazuchika Okada. I have a feeling it's going to be Hook. Now, hear me out here. Hook doesn't really have a path that he's going on right now ever since he retired the FTW Championship. And Hook was one of those guys that helped Bryan Danielson out at the end of WrestleDream. Maybe he ends up winning the Continental Championship. It seems like a title for Hook. I don't think Hook's going to be winning any world titles anytime soon, or even like any of the mid-card championships, like the International or TNT Championship. So I feel like the Continental Championship would be a perfect title for Hook to hold. Kazuchika Okada has been a fantastic champion, like I said earlier, and I think Hook beating Kazuchika Okada would be a fantastic boost to his career, because his career is kind of at a standstill right now because we really don't know what path Hook is going down. But I think this would be a fantastic feud between Hook and Kazuchika Okada. Maybe Kazuchika Okada was the one that attacked Taz in the parking lot. Who knows? But all in all, I think that this would be a fantastic feud, and I think Hook would be a fantastic Continental Champion. The International Championship currently being held by Konosuke Takeshita. Now, I did guess in my last video that Kyle Fletcher was going to turn heel on Will Ospreay and win the International Championship. I was right about one of those. I was right about Kyle Fletcher turning heel, but I was not right about him winning the championship. It ended up being Takeshita, which I'm very happy about because he's one of the best wrestlers in the entire world, in my opinion. That triple threat match between him, Ricochet, and Will Ospreay was absolutely phenomenal. One of the best matches of the entire year. I didn't watch all of Wrestle Dream, but I went back and watched a couple of the matches, and I went back and watched that match, and that match was phenomenal. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Ricochet is going to be the next international champion. I think it makes the most sense. I think you could definitely build a feud off of Ricochet and Takeshita after that triple threat match. I think it'd be I think they'd put on some amazing matches together. They'd put on some match of the year like contenders, and I mean the feud would be okay. I mean, Ricochet is not the best on the mic, as we've heard in the past, and Takeshita, he's still learning English. His English isn't bad though, but he's still learning English. So it'd pretty much just be a feud between Don Callis and Ricochet. But I honestly think that these two would put on some amazing matches together. And honestly, I think Ricochet would be a fantastic international champion. Kind of still building up on his momentum that he has in AEW. So my prediction here is Ricochet is going to beat Konosuke Takeshita for the international championship. The AEW Tag Team Championships currently being held by the Young Bucks, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. They've been great champs, in my opinion. I think their reign should be coming to an end sometime soon. I hope it does, because they've had the championships for a very long time now. And I think they definitely got a lot better in their reign. At first, they really weren't defending their championships that much, but now they've been defending them like a good amount of times in the past few months. But I think that they're going to be losing their championships to their opponents at Wrestle Dream, which was Private Party. I do think that Private Party will be getting a rematch in the near future, and I do think that Private Party will be the ones to defeat the Young Bucks for the Tag Team Championships. I think they've been building them up very well. I think they've been building them up as main event tag team players in the tag division. And Private Party, they've been building up Private Party fantastically. I don't even know if that's a word, but they've been doing really well with Private Party, and I really think that they could become like main event players in the tag division and beat the Young Bucks for the tag titles, maybe like in the next like few months, honestly. Because man, like they're so talented, super talented. And I think they have a lot of charisma, a lot of talent, great in-ring talent, great on the mic. Truly, I think Private Party would be fantastic tag team champions. The Young Bucks, in my opinion, are one of the greatest tag teams in the entire world right now. But their title reign has ran its course. I think they've had amazing matches with a lot of different teams, and I think Private Party would be the perfect team to beat the Young Bucks. The TNT Championship currently being held by the scapegoat Jack Perry. Now, Jack Perry's been a fantastic champion in my opinion. I think he's doing some of the best work of his entire career as the scapegoat. I know I'm in the minority when I say that because he gets a lot of hate on social media, but honest to God, I think he's doing a fantastic job as a heel, as the scapegoat in the Elite. I think he's been doing some great character work as well, and I think it's time to put the TNT Championship on Daniel Garcia. I did say Daniel Garcia in my last predictions video, and I'm saying him again because I absolutely love Daniel Garcia. I think they're building him up as like one of the like a big time player in AEW. Especially after his feud with MJF. He did fantastic in that feud. And I think he's a fantastic babyface as well. A babyface you can really get behind and really support and like, hey, go for it, man. Like, you know what I mean? And I think Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia would have a fantastic feud as well. They hinted at it during WrestleDream, when they had a face-to-face after Jack Perry and Katsuyori Shibata's match. So they had a little altercation there, so they're kind of planting the seeds a little bit for Daniel Garcia to go after the TNT Championship, and Daniel Garcia was one of the competitors that helped Bryan Danielson at the end of WrestleDream. So I think that he's going to also be a big-time name and a big-time player for AEW. So my prediction here is that Daniel Garcia will be defeating Jack Perry for the TNT Championship in the near future. The AEW Women's Championship currently being held by Mariah May. Mariah May's been a fantastic women's champion. She is like the total package. She has great character work, great in-ring work, great mic skills. Like, she is phenomenal, and she's been a phenomenal champion as well. But I honestly don't know who's going to defeat Mariah May. I have a feeling that I predicted in my last video that I still think it's going to be Mina Shirakawa. I think Mina Shirakawa would be a fantastic babyface to fight Mariah May for the Women's Championship. I think she'd be a fantastic champion, and I think that feud would be phenomenal as well. Two best friends splitting apart. It's a tale as old as time. And Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May have amazing chemistry in the ring together, and they're amazing as a tag team as well. If Mina Shirakawa does come back and does a little tag team with Mariah May while she's women's champion, I think that would be phenomenal. I still think that Mariah May's championship reign should be lengthy. I think that she should have the championship for a very long time. Not like a year, but I'm saying she should definitely hold it for a couple more months until Mina Shirakawa defeats her in the near future. But I think Mina Shirakawa would be a fantastic women's champion, and I think the feud between Mariah May and Mina would be fantastic as well. Alfonso! And finally, the AEW World Championship currently being held by Jon Moxley. Now, not what I predicted. I predicted that Darby Allin was going to defeat Bryan Danielson. I thought Bryan Danielson was going to have a very much longer reign than what he did have. But the new AEW champion is Jon Moxley, which at first I was very angry about. I was very angry about Jon Moxley winning the championship, but more I thought about it, and the more they've been playing into the character of the Blackpool Combat Club, this heel faction taking over AEW, and then team an AEW team coming after the Blackpool Combat Club. It's definitely a great storyline that they have going. I think it could definitely revitalize AEW. So after I really thought about it more, I kind of accepted the fact that Jon Moxley won the AEW championship from Bryan Danielson, but my prediction still stays the same. I still think that Darby Allin is going to be the next AEW World Champion, and then after a little bit, I think Christian Cage will cash in his contract on Darby Allin. Christian Cage would be a phenomenal world champion, and then eventually after Christian Cage's reign, I think Darby Allin would regain the world championship again and actually have a reign. But I think that Christian Cage would be a phenomenal champion. I think Darby Allin would be a perfect babyface to beat Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. I think that they've already planted the seeds a little bit for Darby Allin to win the World Championship. And yeah, honestly, I think those two guys, Christian Cage and Darby Allin, would be fantastic world champions, and that's what I think is going to happen. I think that Darby Allin will beat Jon Moxley for the AEW Championship, and then Christian Cage will cash in his contract shortly after to win the AEW World Championship. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please tune in Wednesday where I'll be doing my WrestleMania 13 review. Please tune in on Friday where I'm going to be doing my NXT Halloween Havoc predictions. And please tune in on Sunday where I'll be doing my NXT Halloween Havoc review video. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. With that being said, I'll catch you in the next video.